Welcome to On the Beat. I'm Linda Colson, your host for today, and I am so excited today that we are going to be having Dr. Richard Hurd and Dr. William Gillespie from Gastroenterology of Columbus and Starkville, and they're here today to talk about fatty liver, the dreaded fatty liver. And Dr. Gillespie, tell us a little bit, what is fatty liver and who might possibly be in danger of coming under that issue?
Yeah, so it's kind of like it sounds. Basically, you get fat in your liver, like you can get fat anywhere else, but your liver is not really a place that's supposed to have fat. So over time, you can kind of accumulate fat, which will cause some damage to your liver, and eventually can cause some bad health problems down the road.
So the liver doesn't function as well.
Eventually, if it gets enough scarring and everything, it will stop working as well, and it'll lead to some pretty bad health problems down the road.
What are some of the health problems that it might lead to?
Well, essentially, once your liver is overtaken by fat and gets a lot of scarring, eventually it causes what we call cirrhosis, which just means your liver is very scarred and it doesn't really work like it's supposed to. So you have a lot of clotting problems and retaining fluid and bleeding, and it's not a very good situation, and there's really no cure for cirrhosis other than liver transplant.
Wow.
To chime in a little bit, that's a very slow process that happens over
Yes.
years and
Yes.
years and
Yes.
years.
Okay. But it is a chain reaction, though, on down the road.
Yeah, and it's something that we like to kind of find out about early and intervene so that, they don't end up with cirrhosis, 10, 15 years later.
Well, how exactly do you diagnose that? I mean, how can you tell if someone's suffering from that? Can you tell us, Dr. Gillespie?
Yeah, it's typically something that people will see because they got an X-ray or CT scan for some other reason, and they'll see fatty liver. And just having a little bit of fat on your liver doesn't mean it's causing a whole lot of health problems, but it does mean that we may need to work on some things to prevent it from getting any worse.
What are some of those things that you can do to prevent it from getting any worse?
Well, the main thing is watch your weight. As you might imagine, as you gain weight, in fact, like anywhere else in your body, it can accumulate in the liver. So that's number one. And then, you really want to avoid other problems or control other problems that might also affect the liver. So avoid alcohol. If you have fatty liver and are having some scarring from that, you can discuss that with your doctor too. That's kind of a case-by-case basis, but those are
If you find yourself, though, in that situation, how exactly do you treat it to make it better once you've gone down that long road and gotten in that fix? What can we do to reverse that?
We don't really have any medications to treat fatty liver right now. The things that we have that we know work, the number one is weight loss. Say if you lose about 7% of your body weight, then the fat will start coming off of your liver. Other things are very good control of diabetes, very good control of cholesterol. And there's even something called lean NASH, where there's skinny people that get fatty liver. And that's usually people that have genetic cholesterol problems or diabetes problems, so it's really important to keep those things under control, even if you're not obese, because you can still get fatty liver.
But there are no medications as such?
Not yet. There's a lot in development that we're waiting for the FDA to tell us if they work or not, but right now it's just good old weight loss and just making sure your cholesterol and blood sugars are under control.
Okay, and you also really want to make sure that you are trying to prevent this up front, because it is a cumulative issue with your health.
Yes, and I will say that we have a machine at our office. It's basically like a fancy ultrasound that can tell us if you have much scarring. And there's also a few lab tests we can do to kind of estimate the scarring. So if you do have fatty liver, we can kind of help you decide whether you're at risk for some health problems down the road, or if it's really not that bad and we've got time to work on it.
That would be what I would want to see. We appreciate Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Hurd being with us today from Gastroenterology and Associates in Columbus and Starkville. Be sure to visit their website. It's very educational.